OSI Open System Interconnection Model. It is a model that is characterized and standardized for the internal function for communication purpose, and it has a standardization given by the ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, which is responsible for creating this OSI so that it creates a good standard towards the communication system for the partition into abstraction layers. And there are 7 layers in the OSI. They are physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. And now let's see the characteristics of each and every layer. The first layer is the physical layer. In physical layer, the transmission technique and the physical medium of transmission bits and volts are discussed. So here the transmission medium can be cables such as optic fiber or twisted pair cables, coaxial cables, because it is a kind of a physical device, which is a physical medium that connects two different computers or which is connected to the network. And some of the devices which acts in the physical layer is the hubs and repeaters, because hub and repeaters are a type of device that has a characteristics to connect various computers together but do not have much functionality compared to the other networking devices. So here the physical structure especially we see as cable as well as hub, and also the physical layer discuss about the type of median or the type of physical median that helps us to connect two different computers or two different devices to the network. Data link layer. It is the second layer in the OSI, and it establishes and terminates a logical link between the two nodes, and it transfers the data using frame. And here you can see the NIC card, the network interface card, which you see at the back of your CPU, and it has a MAC address, the MAC, the machine address coding or media access control, where you can see that this MAC address is given by your computer manufacturer. So here in layer 2 data link, the devices that is used are switch and bridge. These are the two devices that connects two different nodes using MAC address, and it sends data using frame. And these are some of the protocols that is used in the data link layer. That's the WLAN, that's a wireless Wi-Fi, and TPTP and Ethernet. These are some of the protocols that is commonly used in the layer 2 data link layer. And the third layer in OSI is the network layer. Here in this layer it contains or the data are transferred from one node to another using packets. So it forms like a package which is equally divided the whole data and is transferred from one node to another with the help of an IP address, because it's the network layer here. So it uses some of the protocols such as IPv4, IPv6, IPX, and these are some of the protocols that we use in the network layer. So these are the protocols which help us to communicate between the networks. So that's the reason here we use routing, subnet traffic controls, as well as it acts as a physical address mapping between the two nodes, and also it counts the subnets, which comes under the physical address mappings. The fourth layer is the transport layer. Here in OSI, this transport layer is responsible to transport the data, the segment of data from the node to another. So here the data are sent through segments. So here the data are equally divided and sent into small bits so that the data are carefully sent from the one node to another. And a good example is the gateway device. And some of the protocols that are implemented are TCP, UDP, SCTP, DCCP, SPX. These are some of the protocols that helps us to transport the segments of data to one node to another. And here some of the application examples are message segments, message acknowledgement, message traffic control, and session multiplying. These are some of the applications that is worked under the transport layer of OSI. Session. Session layer is the fifth layer in OSI, where the establishment, maintenance, and termination takes place towards data from sending from the source to the destination. And also it estimates the time, how much time it takes to send a data from one place to another. That's from the one node to another. And these are some of the protocols that are used. That's SAP, RTP, SOX are some of the common ones that we use in our daily life. And some of the supports, real-time supports are such as performance security, name recognition, and login. Or some of the applications that come under the session. And a very good example is Firewall. Presentation layer, which is the sixth layer in OSI, which is responsible for the data conversion from the nodes between the two different nodes, and it also takes care of security in terms of encryption and decryption is done in this segment. So when we say that presentation, which means it has an authentication key. If there is any authentication key or any secure information transferred from the one node to another, in this layer it takes care of decryption, where if there is encryption is required. And firewall is a good example for the device. And SSL, WEP, WPA are some of the protocols that are used in real time. And SSL, WEP, WPA are some of the two things that is used for the wireless encryption techniques. Application layer. Application layer is the seventh layer in OSI, where it sends and sends to one node and also ensures that you have received the right information or the right data, same as the sender's information. And resource sharing, remote file access, remote print service, directory services are some of the services that are being made using this application layer. And some of the protocols such as DHCP, DNS, FTP, HTTP, and some of these protocols are very commonly used in the server side. And application layer is completely responsible for the network management, where it completely manages the overall right from starting to the physical to the application, and it makes sure also that the program is as same as the sender's node, which means it compares between two different nodes whether it has an equal information. So this is all about OSI layer.